the Pod Network Entertainment.
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, a.k.a. Austin Creed.
Welcome to the big time!
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
You know your damn role and shut your damn mouth.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I have to finish the story.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Hello, my name is Ilja Dragunov, the star.
Bang! The sniper is shooting you down. This is TMDK's Robbie Eagles, and you are listening to the Wrestling Podcast.
You are listening to the longest-running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. It's Rowan and Emil coming at you for another Picks of the Week episode for this week. Yesterday, you might have heard the eulogy for Bray Wyatt, which we recorded over the weekend. I'm sure when our other co-hosts come to the show soon, maybe this week or sometime soon, they'll also have their own takes on it. But till then, we hope that we helped you process a little bit your feelings about Bray Wyatt and his untimely passing. But anyway, Emil, how are you, man?
I'm good. A lot of wrestling over the weekend. I mean, we had, it was kind of a mixed bag of emotions during the weekend. Of course, with the Bray Wyatt passing, but the weekend ended well with All In. It was. I'm surprised na hindi ako nakatulog while watching All In, even though that's at 1 a.m. in the morning. Pero look, usually kasi talaga I'm awake at that point of the day kasi I work at night, so I'm used to it. Pero I'm still surprised na I was able to be up to watch the entire 4 hours. It was 4 hours. So ano naman, normally AEW pay-per-views can feel a little bit longer than it is, pero this one was a quick 4 hours one. It was really fun.
Yeah, I was going to talk about it, but since you brought it up, let's not whitewash what happened nung kahapon, diba?
Yeah.
So our all-in quote-unquote watch party was a major fail. Syempre, some people, it's hard to, I understand it's really hard to do because it's 1 a.m. and not everyone's going to be up for 1 a.m. But, I was anticipating that some people would get to do it because it really is the big show, the biggest show in wrestling history. Right? Like, you guys have done the same for lesser WWE cards, but you couldn't do this for AEW, right? And I guess it's another learning experience, to quote our great Gilas coach. It's one of those learning experiences that prove yet again that AEW is still a second-class citizen in this country and in this fandom. So we tried, we really did, but it wasn't enough. And I guess I should have seen it coming then, because the attendance for yung normal Monday morning pay-per-views are just okay. So, I should have known that not everyone is going to be interested in a after midnight viewing party. And well, it's going to be a worse thing because next week we're going to have All Out. So now I'm really going to ask the crowd, our Discord server, if they really want one. Because if not, I'm not going to bother doing, streaming it live, diba? So, it's kind of annoying. It disappointed me. It was annoying, but at the same time, I know I should have asked. But it is what it is, and we're not always gonna make it. We're not always gonna hit it big. So. Learning experience, as Coach Shot said. But anyway, I talked about the Discord community, so that leads us to our Patreon program. So Emil, tell the people what is waiting for them in our Patreon program.
All right, so if you want to support and experience the Wrestling Podcast in full, all you got to do is subscribe to our Patreon program at patreon.com/Wrestling Podcast. For only as low as $5, or in the local currency, it's around 260 to 270 pesos. Of course, we already mention the Discord community where you could interact with us, interact with your fellow podcast, and sometimes we host some watch parties in there. But all out next week, so that's something to watch out for. I hope, since it's gonna be on the Monday morning, naman. So I hope our audience can join us in our watch party. Also, we have our Pasabais, although it's not really exclusive anymore to our patrons. But if you join our Patreon program, you might get some friendly rates on the service fees na pinapato na ini-impose namin when we do these things. And also we have review content of the weekly wrestling shows from Rowan, ASH, and Raw. Lastly, by subscribing to our Patreon, you're supporting everything that we do here on the podcast, and we be able to hold events like two of the events in the next month or so that Raw will promote in a bit. So again, please subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/wrestling podcast.
Yeah, munti ka tumirik dun eh. Anyway.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so Emil mentioned a few events. First of all, ito legit viewing party that I'm sure more people would show up to than our all-in viewing party. Payback viewing party is happening. It's a small event hosted by ourselves and our friends from Geek Talk PH, and syempre our partners from Hobby Stadium QC. So we're doing Payback on Sunday, September 3. That's 8 a.m. The show starts at 8, but the doors will open at 7. So please drop by. If you got nothing to do on a Sunday morning, it's only 200 pesos. All tickets are available. Walk in. You don't have to register for snack.ph anymore. I'm sure it's infinitely more convenient for you to come in and walk, get your tickets, and we'll just have a good time. It's mostly a Raw pay-per-view, which we'll talk about in the stream on Thursday. But just go there. I believe the ticket comes with a free, no free IC pala, pero let's please support the business ng friends natin from Hobby Stadium by ordering food and drink for breakfast. I know for a fact that the food is really good and the coffee is really good. So especially for you guys who are not used to the morning pay-per-view shows and you need a little pick me up. So please let's support the business. And if we're doing if we're watching it live, let's make sure that we, have a good experience, and so that we can ensure na may susunod pang ganito in the future, diba? Yun. And then the other event that we're putting on at Hobby Stadium as well is our upcoming quiz night. It's the first one we'll do in a few years. Before it was under the Smart Henry brand, but now Smart Henry is no more. And we're doing it ourselves, and we'll just have a quiz night. It's going to be at Hobby Stadium on September 23. It's a Saturday night. It will be for 350 pesos. That gives you a free iced tea. You could come as yourself. You can come as a duo or as a group of more than 2. Anyone can join and anyone can participate in this wrestling themed quiz night. Up for grabs are gift certificates to Hobby Stadium. I know they got a lot of nerd stuff, really good hobby stuff that really worth the money there. So if you're looking if you're looking to get some stuff from Hobby Stadium, this is the best thing to try and play for. And then there's also a prize of a box of WWE trading cards. Syempre, for the card aficionados out there, this is a good get. So, alam mo na. And we're also in talks with Everybody's Toys and Collectibles, yung nagpartner sa atin with nung SummerSlam viewing party. So if you liked the Tribal Chief package that we gave away in the SummerSlam viewing party, this is also going to be a treat for you. So, ang daming prizes, guys. Let's all hang out. Let's get together. It's going to be the night before the next MWF show. So it's going to be a good weekend of solid wrestling events. Diba? So, tara. Let's all come and join. And so I'll have a good time at Hobby Stadium on September 23, Saturday. All right. Now that all the housekeeping stuff is done, it's time to head to our picks of the week. I've been talking too much. Our first pick of the week is from Rowan. Actually, it could pretty much be a consensus pick na rin, but it is the tribute promo that LA Knight cut nung SmackDown last week, which is the day that they found out that Bray Wyatt passed. So SmackDown became a tribute show to both Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk, who had also just passed the day before. And they had to do the unenviable job of balancing the episode to be between a tribute show and their usual story episode. So the last time this happened was Chris Benoit. And nung nangyari yun, they just scrapped all storylines and asked whoever wanted to wrestle. They didn't impose they didn't ask anyone to work, or they didn't force anyone to work. But it's not the case this time, because they still had they still pushed through with their promoted matches. So Rowan thinks that the tribute show wasn't as emotional because they still pushed through with some of their advertised matches, but they wrote the justification in a way that it came off like an acceptance stage show. That's Rowan's words, meaning to say that they were in the acceptance stage of the tragedies, of the tragic incidents, because they said that there's nothing that Bray would have wanted than to entertain the fans, so let's carry on with a normal show. So the emotional part about this was LA Knight's pre-match promo before the main event. He paid tribute to Bray Wyatt. Everyone knows that LA Knight was the last opponent in Bray Wyatt back at the Royal Rumble in the infamous Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. And LA Knight said that he wasn't like the best friends. He wasn't like the best of friends with Bray, pero syempre they're now tied forever together, right? And he pretty much said that working with Bray formed a friendship with him during those times, and he was ultimately grateful to Bray because he parang took him under his wing in a manner of speaking, and made LA Knight relevant by feuding with him and having that infamous match. So he ended the feud. He ended the promo rather by quoting Bray Wyatt's infamous or legendary "run" catchphrase, and that pretty much set off everyone's emotional triggers, right? So I can see that in this promo, LA Knight was visibly coming off of crying. So that was pretty cool. And he didn't really hide that fact. It made him a lot more cool to a lot of people, because he wasn't shying away from the fact that he was crying about Bray's passing. And I understand why or how this would have made people emotional. And I thought that LA did a really good job of balancing yung story that they had to advance and the real emotion and the gravitas of the moment, and convey that without having to go through his usual catchphrases. So what did you think of this, Emil?
Rowan pretty much said everything about this. It was an emotional episode. But this one, they saved the best for last with this LA Knight promo and the match. And again, looking back, we didn't really like the Pitch Black, but that feud really cemented LA Knight as he's one of the guys in the main roster now. And yeah, he also addressed it. And he's grateful to Bray because, like, in a way, he helped LA Knight find his footing in the main roster. So it was fitting that he's the guy to address the audience so that they can also help the audience, get through their feelings, their emotions throughout the night. So an incredible promo, and he won the match. He won the match, and that last image of SmackDown last Friday was emotional, where they had the silhouette of Bray with the butterfly picture on the big Titantron, and the fireflies lit up, and that was a great final image to SmackDown, and a very fitting tribute to one Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that LA Knight became a real star from that promo. I don't know if I agree with that, but it really was good. It was a good moment. Parang he cemented himself as a serious guy that didn't have to rely on the catchphrases so much. Pero I don't think like that was the biggest star-making performance ever, but I'm not going to dispute that now because we're all in mourning. So, yun lang naman. I just wanted to get that out there. All right. Next pick is from Chino. Last week, a trailer for a new Netflix show dropped. It's actually a docu-series. It's called Wrestlers, and it was from the people behind Last Chance U and the other show, I believe. So if you don't know what Last Chance U is, it's a docu-series about athletes who are trying to make it to college, diba? To a college program, diba? But are not like the best or the cream of the crop. Diba? So it's a more compelling and dramatic story of sports and, you know, trying to make it big. So this is a lot of the same. This Wrestlers is a story of not just a independent wrestler, but also some veterans like Al Snow, diba? And then I think I saw an appearance by David Shoemaker there. So because it's such a well produced, it's a well produced docu-series about wrestling that isn't really about yung guys that we usually see or the legends that we know. It's pretty interesting and intriguing. So Chino says that it's an inside look into the world of pro wrestling. He asks if this was what NXT originally wanted to be. No, I don't think so. He just really likes it because even though the show isn't obviously out yet, he thinks that it's a nice thing to have because more content about wrestling is always good. So, Emil, what's your take on this teaser of this new show?
The main fact that I got out of that trailer is I'm surprised OVW is still a thing.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought like after its association with WWE as a developmental na nawala na lang siya. But I'm very surprised to learn that it's still in existence, although they're not really associated with WWE anymore, and they run more like an independent wrestling company. And Al Snow is in there, so that's something to look forward to. But I'll judge the series when the episodes drop. This is obviously a trailer, so but people are excited, with this when this trailer came out. So probably means this series has some potential to be really good.
Yeah, hirap sabihin diba? Like because it's really just a teaser, but it is what it is, and I guess the idea of having it is good enough, which is, I guess, okay na rin. Right? No, I agree with you. Actually, yeah. I do love documentaries and docuseries like Dark Side of the Ring and all that stuff, but I don't always get the time to watch them because I don't have the full commitment necessary to finish all of them, especially pag mahabang series siya. Siguro kung if it was a shorter series and I was forced to watch it, I would probably finish it. But let's see how good this is going to be. Pati nga yung Ruthless Aggression docuseries, yung tinapos eh.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, that's it for our first half of the episode. Before we get to the second half, which is all the matches that you need to see on the past week of wrestling, let's hear from a few of our fellow podcasts on the Pod Network. All right, we're back with this week's Picks of the Week episode. It's Ro and Emil coming at you with our Picks of the Week. And the next pick is from Stan. It's from last week's episode of Raw. It is the Intercontinental Championship match between Chad Gable and Gunther. All right, this is weird. It's good, for sure. It's really good. I like that they're giving Chad Gable the rub. Obviously, he's good. He deserves it. We talked so much about Chad Gable over the past few weeks because he's been pushed, and that means we get to make his matches Picks of the Week a lot more. So if you've been listening, you know already how we feel about Chad Gable, right? And this is another one of those good performances, but syempre they were holding it back because it wasn't going to be a decisive finish. Chad Gable won via countout here. And initially, when I saw that, I was confused because he was celebrating as though he won the championship because it was a title match, diba? And he was celebrating like he actually won the title. Pero he didn't, and then I think eventually it came to me, and by the way he reacted to it, he wanted to prove that he could beat and hang with Gunther. So that was why he was celebrating, not because he thought that he was going to win the championship, but because he knew he could hang. So that was pretty cool. And that's a great moment. And I hope, I don't know if there's space or time for it, but I hope that they find a way to put this in Payback, even though that's going to make it like a completely Raw exclusive pay-per-view. So really good stuff. And for those who, again, we keep saying this, but it bears repeating, but for those who don't know what Chad Gable is capable of, this is one of those things that proves it. So what do you think of this, Emil?
Definitely, I love the story of this feud. The genesis of this is Gunther doubting Chad Gable that he could hang with him. So it's the story doesn't really revolve around if Chad Gable can beat him, but all the feud is about right now is if can Chad Gable hang with him. And I think successfully nagawa na nila yun eh. So they are now on the next step of this feud now, because Gable was able to hang and even beat Gunther via countout. Now the question is, can he now beat Gunther in a one-on-one match? Like Chad Gable is going by it bit by bit. He at first he wants to prove to Gunther, para seryosohin siya na yes, I can hang with you, and when the moment comes, I can beat you for your title, which I absolutely love. And I don't know if this might lead to Chad Gable actually winning, but I am loving this story so far, and I can't wait for their third match.
I don't think it's going to lead to Chad Gable winning, because he already got the big win in the count out, and the fact that was like the first time Gunther was beaten in singles action in a long time. So they're hanging that on Chad. And then because he already has that victory, he doesn't need to win the championship, which is, I'm sure, how they're going to play it. Like the way they usually do with Roman, diba? He got beat by the Usos, diba? And then because of that, Jay wasn't going to win the championship. So that's pretty cool. I do hope though that that's wrong. I mean, my prediction is wrong that Chad eventually wins the title because he deserves it. But I don't think it's gonna be that optimistic for him. All right, next pick, which is mine, is from NXT Heatwave. Last week it is Trick Williams versus Ilja Dragunov, and the thing about how you need a better guy to carry you, and then if you step up and match his beat step for step, then that means you're a good wrestler. So that's this is Trick Williams is coming out. So they threw him in the literal deep end with Ilja Dragunov here, and he survived. My favorite spot of the night, syempre, was Ilja doing the downward forearm smash, the falling forearm smash, which is, if I took that, I would probably die or get knocked unconscious. But it's fucking insane. And I knew that Trick Williams was going to be something because he got the body, he got the physique, he's got the athleticism that WWE management really likes in their superstars, especially now in their current drive to recruit yung mga non-wrestling athletes, diba, to the performance center. So I think Trick and guys like people like Tiffany Stratton and whoever else is in there, Ivy Nile, is proof that this system works, diba? Sometimes you do have to look beyond wrestling and get great athletes and then teach them wrestling to make it work. Because sometimes the wrestling fans, they're not the best. They're not the best athletes. I'll admit they're not the best athletes. But I like this for Trick. I love this for Trick. He can hang. And I think that guy's a future single star. They're already teasing the whole dissension between him and Carmelo. And the fact that you can hang with someone like Ilja Dragunov, even though that's not hard to do, is still pretty great and something to be said. Diba? So what did you think of this, Emil?
Oh boy, I did not have any expectations to this match at all. Like, it was the opener of Heatwave, and when I was watching NXT, I was watching while working. And then by the middle of the match, I start to watch the match entirely. na doon na lang yung nakafocus ko sa TV because can't believe Trick Williams has the ability to hang. Like, yeah, Ilja Dragunov is Ilja Dragunov, right? Pero Trick Williams also needs to, parang need din niya mag-step up kasi yung kalaban niya super galing. And he was able to do that. And I was really surprised that Trick has it in him. Like before we always think of Trick as the bodyguard of Melo, like he's the muscle, right? Pero in this match, he proved that he can wrestle, like he can step up whenever he needs, and this is a breakout party here for Trick Williams, and I was so happy. If it wasn't for my pick of the week, this would have been also my pick of the week as well, because I was really surprised of how great this match was.
That dude's a basketball player, diba? Or is he a wide receiver? I'm not.
Yeah,
let's check that. Fact check that right now. I know he's a non-wrestling athlete.
Baka basketball player kasi tangkad siya eh.
Yeah, that's what I thought then. Trick Williams apparently has no Wikipedia page. That is weird. For a guy in his position right now,
wrestling wiki.
He has no Wikipedia page. Get this man a Wikipedia page. How dare you? All right.
No, in his pro wrestling wiki page, nakalagay lang talaga doon. He's a wrestler who wrestles in NXT.
I know it was one of those write-ups to WWE.com that I saw, or one of those background bios that they mentioned when on commentary about.
No, apparently he had some training before coming to the PC. It's actually nakalagay. I'm on Wrestlers Database or Cage Match. He trained under CZW pala. So maybe he is really a wrestler. Wala siyang athletic background.
Okay. All right. I could have sworn that he was a basketball player somewhere. No. Wait, yeah. Is this him? I don't know. It's not him. All right. Never mind. Let's carry on. All right. Your pick, Emil. What is it? Tell the people.
All right. So my pick of the week is probably the biggest match in the biggest event in pro wrestling history, as they say. It's the main event of All In, Adam Cole versus MJF, the main event for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So earlier that night, they won the ROH Tag Team Championships from the Aussie Open. So dun pa lang, na throw off na yung predictions ng iba na there might be a turn, because why would they give them the tag team titles if they're gonna break up at the end of the night? So, but still, coming into that match, I was anticipating drama to happen after the match. So the first half was, they wrestled, and then I started to see the story of the match that MJF can't do things to Cole because of the friendship, pero Cole, because he was desperate to win the championship, will do anything, even the most dastardly things, to MJF. Like that moment where MJF hesitated to do the tombstone pile driver on Adam Cole dun sa announcer's table, but he can't do it because it's his friend. Pero Cole did it nonetheless. Na walang hesitation, no hesitation whatsoever. I even tweeted something about it na, I'm smelling a double turn here because Cole is acting like Austin in WrestleMania 17. I see the same similarities in mannerisms and in actions. No, at the end of the day, friendship wins. They did a double pin and then they restarted the match. And again, I love the character development of both guys here. In that post match segment where MJF does not only care about the title anymore, but he legit cares about his friendship with Adam Cole, and he was willing to, he did that thing where he threw the title to Cole and he dared him to hit him with the title, the same way as when they lost the tag team match at Collision, where Cole was anticipating MJF to hit him, but he didn't. So it was so beautiful. That I believe it was also a callback to yung post-match celebration that they had, the confetti. It was a callback to the last time there was a major wrestling event in Wembley, and that was in '92, where Bret Hart and the British Bulldog, they also had the same celebration after the match. So I believe it was a callback. And again, Roderick Strong, he's the most. He's ironically the funniest part of this whole story. Like
nobody realized that Roderick Strong turned heel.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Diba? He was so like that. Legit made Roderick Strong interesting again. So overall, everyone played their parts. Even the Kingdom when they console Roderick Strong after the celebration. So, again, that kept me awake. That last hour, that whole anticipation of what will happen really kept me awake. So, wrestling wise, it wasn't really something a match of the year candidate, but the story really, yun na nagdala dito sa match na to.
Pero mo nakascore ng libreng pa-ticket sa UK yung Kingdom just for that spot.
Yeah.
Before I talk about it, I found it. Trick Williams was a wide receiver, like I said, because he's built like a wide receiver.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. Okay.
South Carolina Gamecocks. Anyway, yun, you're right. Well, first thing, that wasn't the only callback to SummerSlam '92. They did that because they did that because it was a big event in Wembley. So how do you not? It literally was a WrestleMania level event. So how do you not? How do you not treat it like one at the end? So the other callback to SummerSlam '92 was the finish where MJF beat Adam Cole with the inside cradle. So Bret Hart beat Davey Boy Smith with a roll up because Bret Hart loves doing roll ups because he thinks it's legit. Yeah. So Bret Hart legitimized the roll up, and that was like I think because it was the same unassuming type of finish. So that's the callback there. Anyway, I agree with everything you said. This really was a match, a pick rather, because of what happened after. So I was saying that I didn't think AEW could top what WWE was doing with the Bloodline, but they lucked into Adam Cole and MJF. I say luck because I don't think TK foresaw any of this at all. Like he did the whole MJF versus Adam Cole story at first, and then he tried doing it his way, with the whole work shoot, how MJF usually started his feuds with the people he looked up to as quote unquote heroes, and then they did a detour where MJF and Adam Cole teamed up, and I think they really were just building that for the next pay-per-view, and then they realized how good the chemistry was between the two of them. And then I think the whole fact that Adam Cole didn't turn on MJF at all was Tony Khan finally admitting defeat to the audibles that people wanted him to make. But that's pretty good, and I give him credit for that. You mentioned the match not being all that. I agree. I think they were holding back for a bigger match. If the match isn't all out just yet, no pun intended, there's going to be a third one coming. Not anytime soon, because I know they're trying to milk the team up for sure for a longer time. And you have to, because it's really good. You gave up your second tier tag team championships for that, and deserve the man. I agree. That was the right move to make. I did call a long time ago that these two should stay a team and they should win the tag team championships together. And I'm glad this is happening. I'm just not glad it's not the AEW tag team championship. I don't hate it. They made it work. Yeah. They made it work. Adam Cole justified why he chose the ROH tag team championship. So that's pretty cool too. I like how they flipped the roles here, where MJF is the one asking for the heel turn. And more than ever, I don't know who is going to turn here. And the only reason I don't like that is because there's still a possibility that MJF is the one to turn again. And that's the last thing anyone wants right now, because everyone wants to cheer MJF. And I hope MJF realizes this, because he can't keep going back to the crutch of being a heel. He does have to try being a face, because people want him to be a face. People want the reason to cheer their scumbag. Diba? So, I hope that that's where the story is headed, because right now it could still go either way. Super great. Really the best thing that they've done all show. David Shoemaker said that this show was very WWE, and I know that TK doesn't want to admit that, but it really is. It really was more WWE than anything. And I guess that kind of affirms what WWE is doing, despite what the hardcore fans of AEW want and like. But it is what it is. But to be fair, it's not really just WWE's brand of storytelling. I mean, it's the legacy tradition of Western pro wrestling. That's how it's always been done in North America, if you will.
Even the pacing of... I'm glad you brought up what Shoemaker said about All In. It's very WWE kasi the pace of the show really felt like...
No, wait. Let's save that for Thursday.
Okay, all right.
Let's save that for Thursday. We're talking about the matches here. So, do you have anything else to say about...
No, yun lang naman. Again.
Yeah, all right.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, sorry, no, it was my fault. I brought up the whole thing. Pero I realized that we should nip it in the bud. All right.
Yes.
All right, that's it for our picks of the week. This episode this week. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting us, the Wrestling Podcast. You can follow us at Wrestling2X Pod on Twitter and TikTok, at Wrestling Podcast on Instagram, and the Wrestling Podcast on Facebook. You can follow me at Rosewar, Emil at EML_Meister. The others at Monday Night Rowan, that's NITE, at Chino Supersized, and at _Stan C. Thank you to the boys and girls of the Pod Network for helping us do what we do here and delivering the audio goodness and video goodness as well on time and consistently. So thank you for all of your work. And we'll see you guys on Thursday where we dissect All In and then predict Payback and All Out. Jesus Christ, get ready. Strap yourselves in for a big episode. We're gonna have to go long here.
Yep.
Right. On behalf of Emil Nate, this has been Romoran. This has been the Picks of the Week episode of the Wrestling Podcast. Until Thursday, or whenever you listen to us next, please stay safe, stay warm, stay dry. It's storming out there again. Don't be a dick. All right. Wrestling Podcast out. Peace.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company,